So y'all should be able to see and hear me. So let me know if you can see and hear me. I'm trying to figure out, is my head crooked or did I do my hair crooked, uneven? Something going on. So I have to hold my neck like this during the whole thing. But anyway, hey y'all. Y'all should be able to see and hear me. All right, so I'm going to give everybody just a few minutes to come into the room. And then we'll get started. If you're new, definitely make sure you let me know where you're from, because I love to know where you guys are from. I definitely like to know where you guys are from. And I know I got some new subscribers from my last video. Thank you, Scott. Shadante, you should be able to see me now, so let me know. But yeah, y'all, so I'm gonna give people just a few minutes to come in. Sorry I'm late, but it's kind of weird because, like, for some reason, hey Helena, hey Bori, hey Ronald, thank you. But for some reason, like, sometimes when I come into the room and I'm trying to like start the live, it'll say like, oh, do you have a camera? We don't detect your camera. And I'm like, really? Hey, Ernest. Okay, cool. So Shadante say she can hear me now. Okay. Awesome. Oh my God. You already got people thumbing down my video. Why? Please tell me why. I haven't even said anything yet, but hey, y'all. Oh my goodness. But let me tell y'all, I'm not even going to worry about it, because I will never forget the first time I got a thumbs down on one of my YouTube videos. And I remember being super excited because, and I know it's probably weird, but I just remember being super excited because I knew at that point that my video was reaching new people and it wasn't just my friends and family watching anymore. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? It might be a thumbs down, but you listen, but that's okay. So, hey Hammond boy. Yes, Boris said Jay-Z and the NFL have been taking over the media. So I decided to not do a video about that, even though I did talk about it a little bit on my Instagram or whatever. And so I'm just gonna say this very briefly about my position on the whole Jay-Z thing, is that at the end of the day, Jay-Z is an entertainer, Jay-Z is a businessman. I told y'all that oftentimes these people will use like emotions and social justice marketing as one of the highest selling markets right now. Like, it's hot. Like, you know what I mean? If you can play on people's emotions, make them feel something, make them feel hope and change, you selling off the racks. I mean, that's just literally what it is. And so do not get emotionally invested in these celebrities. Jay-Z is just a man making money. I mean, it's literally just that simple. So yes, I've been seeing everybody talking about that. Hey, Edward. I've been seeing everybody talking about that. So, you know, when you waiting on these celebrities to do something or be something on your behalf, it just really doesn't make sense. People have to learn to be something on your own behalf. Do something on your own behalf. That's how I feel. Stop waiting for these celebrities and Jay-Z and Cardi B and all these other people to represent you. I can't believe we still doing this in 2019, literally going into 2020. It just doesn't make sense. But all right, y'all. So, hey Stanley. So make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. Please share this video. Please support this video. I've been doing a lot of, and y'all excuse me for my blue tongue. Y'all know it's the summertime, and so I've been sipping on my icy. I think some other places y'all call them like Slurpees or I don't even know, but y'all know. So if you see my blue tongue, there is why. But anyway, so yeah, I've been watching a lot of videos today. Hey Tony. I've been watching a lot of videos. I've been reading a lot of articles. This whole thing has been going on with after Trump tweeted this. Like, we're going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to show y'all the tweet that started it and kind of get y'all caught up on this whole Google thing, Hillary Clinton thing, and all this. And at the end, I'm going to explain why this is so important, okay? You are not going to find this on your nightly news. If you do, they're going to try to talk it away. And I'm going to show y'all how hypocritical these mainstream media people are. But if you find this on your nightly news, they'll probably spend 2-3 minutes on it. They're going to try to talk it away when they have made use similar things. Thank you, Organic. When they have used similar things to blow up and talk about in the media for weeks at a time. And I'm going to tell y'all why this is so important for everybody and why everybody needs to be paying attention to this and what's going on, okay? So, all right. Let me start by showing y'all this. And we're going to go through the whole thing, get y'all caught up. So, to let y'all know, like, exactly what's going on. Okay. How do I do this? Okay, here we go. All right. So, as you can see, all right, so this was a tweet from Donald Trump recently. Wow, report just out. Google manipulated from 2.6 million to 16 million votes for Hillary Clinton in 2016 election. This was put out by a Clinton supporter, not a Trump supporter. Google should be sued. My victory was even bigger than I thought. So, people wasn't feeling that. People coming out basically saying like, he's not telling the truth. This is a lie. Where's your evidence to support this? Like, this is what a lot of people were talking about. Okay. Anyway. So Hillary responded, right? And she was like, the debunked study you're referring to was based on 21 undecided voters. For context, that's about half the number of people associated with your campaign who have been indicted. So, of course, they got to throw a little shade in there, whatever the case may be. All right, Hillary, just stay on topic. Anyway, so after that, you basically had all these media sources coming out, basically almost try to like defend Hillary Clinton. This is not true. Here Trump goes lying again. Where is he getting this information from? Trying to make it seem like he's just getting this information from some wacko. He's just, because we've had instances where Trump will retweet like these comedians and all these other people. All right. So the media was basically trying to, sweep it under the rug. So here you have CNN. All right. So fact check. Trump falsely claims Google manipulated millions of 2016 votes. All right. So in a tweet on Monday, President Donald Trump made a sensational allegation about Google. And so this goes on with the tweet that we just talked about. He was referring to a study by psychologist Robert Epstein, which was discussed on Fox Business earlier on Monday. But Trump did not describe the research correctly, and the research itself has been called into question. First fact, Epstein himself says Trump was wrong about his findings. Epstein did find bias in Google search results, but he says there is no evidence. Google manipulated the results to favor Clinton. Also, critics on the study note that there is no definitive link between search results and voting behavior in presidential elections. Let me read this again because let me just read this again. Also, critics of the studies note that there is no definitive link between search results and voting behavior in presidential elections. Y'all, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. This is how conniving, shifty, manipulative, contradictory these people are. These same people that are sitting here telling you there is no definitive link between search results and voting behavior are the same people. I know y'all haven't forgotten because I did a video about this. I talked about this. These are the same people that told y'all Black people are so stupid. This is what they basically said, okay? Black people are so stupid that $4,000 worth of ads manipulated the Black vote. Do y'all remember that? $4,000 of Russian ads, Russian propaganda, Russian ads on Facebook, and found through Google somehow manipulated all the Black people that don't have a brain in their head to think for themselves. But now, when the shoe is on the other foot, there is no definitive link between search results and voting behavior. This is like, y'all, I'm going to pull receipts every time. Every single time. I don't know who they think we are, who they think they're dealing with. That is an insult to my intelligence. I don't like it. CNN, we haven't forgotten. It's like, pick a side. You know what I mean? And this is something that I always challenge of myself. This is something I always challenge of y'all, anybody watching. Be consistent in your beliefs. Be consistent. Challenge yourself to be consistent. We're human. But at some point, these people, like, I'm smart. You know what I mean? I have good common sense, but these people writing these articles, doing this research, these people have been in the game for years. Years. These people have freaking psychology, sociology, history degrees, and everything else. And this is not by accident, y'all. This is not by accident, okay? These are the same people that will tell you that Fredo is equivalent to the N-word, but then you turn around and turn on their program and a person says Fredo and they don't blink an eye. These people are fundamentally inconsistent. And at some point, you just have to call it what it is. It's just lying, okay? It's lying. So now we have to call into question, is there a link between search results and voting behavior? Is there a link? Because I'm telling you, if this is the premises of this article, all that Russia talk was pointless. All that Russia bots, Russia did this, Russia did that on the internet, Russia bought ads. You are debunking, like, all that time y'all spent on Russia. If this is what you truly believe, CNN, that's a problem. It's problematic and helps debunking a huge part of this whole Russia thing that y'all carried on for several years. It just makes no sense. But anyway, I'm going to link this article below. Like, when I read that, I was just like, wow. Like, I mean, oh my goodness. But anyway, So I'm gonna link this article below. They go in to kind of like talk around, Epstein's research and this and that, and why his research, wasn't really viable or anything like that. But I'm not gonna read this actual article. I will link it below if you want to come back and read it. But a lot of this we're gonna cover anyway, straight from his mouth and his research and his tweets, so we don't even have to rely on CNN, okay? But anyway, oh my God. So this is how they do us, y'all. I just, all right. So when these people started coming out, CNN and all these mainstream media, people basically trying to debunk Epstein's work, he's like, okay, bam, hold up a minute. If y'all want to do it like that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull receipts. Thank you, Tony. And y'all, please make sure y'all give thumbs up because there's some good information. These are the videos that I like to do, okay? So I've been reading, watching videos all day. So y'all, please give me a thumbs up. Please share the video so the video can get out, okay? So Dr. Robert Epstein was basically like, you know what? Screw that. Y'all not about to slander my name. You know what? I'm just going to tell y'all how it is. I'm about to let everything out that I've been holding in. This is basically what he said. And so he basically went on a Twitter storm today. So it started with this tweet. Hillary Clinton, whom I've strongly supported for many years, told blatant lies about me today. As a result, I have been subjected to widespread condemnation by mainstream media. I'm going to fight this. Stay tuned tomorrow for my first ever Twitter storm. All right. So Epstein is like, you know what? I'm not going. I've done this research. I came out with my truth. And then y'all had a nerve to want to smear me? Really? All right. So let's see what he's been talking about today. And then we're going to go over, I'm going to show y'all when he originally was before Congress, and basically Google being brought forward, like, what's going on? Are y'all censoring people? Did y'all help Hillary Clinton and all this? So we're going to talk about that. But all right, so let's look at some of his tweets from today. All right, so because this man is a straight up Hillary fan, been a Hillary fan. And okay. All right. So, first of all, hey y'all, everybody that's just coming into the room. So, first of all, let me point this out, that he was responding to somebody, and I've done videos on this. And Facebook, I think, is either being sued for this, but they've definitely been blasted for this recently. Alexa and all of these apps are recording y'all conversations. So we knew to some extent they were recording us, but I would have you know, not only are they recording you, they are transcribing your conversations. So you literally have a human person, all right, sitting there listening to your calls over Facebook, WhatsApp, all of these different messaging sites that are sitting there typing, okay? They're transcribing what you are saying to your loved one, your friend, your family member, and then they are using that information, selling it, and all kind of stuff. These companies are so slimy, y'all. So please be aware that it's a lot going on. All right, so he basically said on May 10, 2017, Google shareholders voted overwhelmingly to allow the company to censor the content it shows people anywhere in the world, okay? He linked the article about it. All right. He said, which is why I wrote with great admiration about Hulk in my book. He said, don't believe everything you read on Wikipedia. I've never had any kind of grudge against Google, and that hack in 2012 was minor and quickly fixed. My only sources are my data. I'm also not conservative. See my congressional testimony here. So let's take a little look at this when he spoke before Congress, because the first thing they'll try to do when things like this happen, they'll try to smear you, or they'll try to put you in a box so people will look at you a certain type of way, right? Because if some people automatically assume he's conservative, they're gonna be like, oh, whatever, I'm against that. And I'm gonna tell y'all at the end why everybody should have a problem with these. Okay, it should seem like it should be common sense, but sometimes it's not. So we're gonna talk about it. But anyway, okay, where is his? I got it pulled up. But let's take a look at this.
I am indeed Dr. Robert Epstein. The most important thing for you to know about me is that I'm the father of 5 wonderful children. As it happens, I'm also a research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology. I have been center left my whole adult life, but I value my country and democracy more than I value any party or candidate.
Now, I must say that that's definitely one thing that me and him have in common. And it seems to be really rare these days, especially with people in the media, these politicians. They are so, y'all, you actually have people cheering. You have these people cheering for us to have a recession. You have some of these media personalities foaming at the mouth for us to have a recession. Who do you think that's going to hurt the most? Middle class people. It's going to hurt me and you. But some of these people are so caught up in their agenda, they don't care. They don't give a crap. They care about the ratings. They care about being able to down Trump, which gives them more ratings. And everyday normal people and our concerns get lost in the shuffle. So these type of people, when we see them, they need to be applauded and supported. But let's keep watching.
That is why I'm speaking out today. I'm here to explain why Google poses a serious threat to democracy, how monitoring systems can protect us from companies like Google, and how Congress can immediately end Google's worldwide monopoly on search. My plan for ending that monopoly was published just yesterday in Business Week. I respectfully request that my article be entered into the Congressional record. It's attached to my full testimony.
It will be entered without objection.
I've been a research psychologist for nearly 40 years. My PhD is from Harvard, and since 1981, I've published extensively on AI and other topics. Some of my research has focused on Google, on the company's massive surveillance operations, censorship capabilities, and unprecedented ability to manipulate the thinking of 2.5 billion people, soon to be 4+ billion. I've written articles about.
So when Trump did that tweet, this is where he was basically getting that information from.
Google for Time Magazine, USA Today, that kind of thing, but also for the Daily Caller and even Russia's Sputnik News. I reach out to diverse audiences because I believe the threats posed by Google, and to a lesser extent Facebook, are so serious that everyone needs to know about them. Here are just 3 disturbing findings from my research, which adheres to the very highest standards of scientific integrity. Number 1, in 2016, Google's search algorithm likely impacted undecided voters in a way that shifted at least 2.6 million votes to Hillary Clinton, whom I supported. I know this because I preserved more than 13,000 election-related searches prior to Election Day, and Google's search results were significantly biased in favor of Secretary Clinton. I know the number of votes that shifted because I've conducted dozens of controlled experiments that measure how opinions shift when search results are biased. I call this shift SEAM, the Search Engine Manipulation Effect, which I first published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science.
So I'm going to link this below if y'all want to finish watching, but I think this one showed maybe Ted Cruz asking him some questions.
Dr. Epstein, I found your testimony incredibly powerful and incredibly concerning. And if anyone draws news out of this hearing, I would encourage you to review very carefully Dr. Epstein's testimony. And I'd like to take a moment to make clear several things. First of all, as I understand your background, you're not a Republican and nor are you a conservative. Is that accurate?
That would be an understatement.
And indeed, you're the former editor-in-chief of Psychology Today.
Correct.
So you're a respected academic. You testified before this committee that Google's manipulation of votes gave at least 2.6 million additional votes to Hillary Clinton in the year 2016. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I want to make sure I understand. You personally supported and voted for Hillary Clinton.
I was a very strong public supporter of Hillary Clinton, yes.
So you're not just dismayed that people voted for her, but your testimony is that Google is, through bias in search results, manipulating voters in a way they're not aware of.
On a massive scale. And what I'm saying is that I believe in democracy, I believe in the free and fair election, more than I have any kind of allegiance to a candidate or a party.
And
It's sad. It's sad when we live in a time where, like, I literally have to say that for him to say that on this national stage and for him to even feel that way is honorable, right? This man is literally a research scientist, a psychologist, and he has to let people know that, look, I'm non-biased, and I support democracy and basically what's right, regardless of which party it is, okay? Which brings me to, thank you, Will D. It. Will D. It said, are you voting for Trump? So let me say this. I have up until 2020 to decide who I'm voting for. But at the end of the day, I don't think that who I'm voting for is as important like this guy is saying to promote and uphold the things that we believe in. Some of this stuff that's going on is wrong. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, y'all know that a lot of these Democrats, I'm straight looking upside their heads like, what's going on? You have people like me who consider myself to actually be pretty centrist, pretty in the middle, having various beliefs and ideologies, but somehow I get caught up in the mix when you have such a party being pushed to such a radical perspective. That some of this is like, at some point, it's like, this doesn't even make sense anymore. This doesn't make sense anymore. So you're not going to come to my channel and have me telling y'all to vote for this person or vote for that person. I'm never going to put myself in a position to be partisan, because if something is wrong, it's just wrong, regardless of who it is, regardless of who that candidate is. So I will say this, regardless of who wins in 2020, I am going to support the things that they do that I like, and I'm not going to support and I'm going to call out the things they do that I don't. It's just that simple. For example, with Trump being in office right now, there's stuff that he does that I do not like. I don't appreciate, I don't agree with it. And then there's things that he does that I like. or I think may impact my community, I may impact my community good, may help us. So it's really just a common sense thing. I've noticed that a lot of people have checked out and it just doesn't make sense. I'm going to want any president in there to do well. That just makes sense to me. That just makes sense, because who's going to be impacted the hardest, the fastest, the quickest, the most? It's going to be middle income people. So regardless of who is in there, if they're doing good things or they're doing things I agree with, I'm going to support those things and I'll talk about those things. But anyway, so getting back to this, I'm going to let y'all listen to a little bit more of this.
And looking forward, if I understood your testimony correctly, you said in subsequent elections, Google and Facebook and Twitter and big text manipulation could manipulate as many as 15 million votes in a subsequent election.
In 2020, if all these companies are supporting the same candidate, there are 15 million votes on the line that can be shifted without people's knowledge and without leaving a paper trail for authorities to trace.
Now, you described the Go Vote reminder, and you said it wasn't a public service announcement, but rather manipulation. Can you explain how? I'm not sure everyone followed the details of that.
Well, sure. If on Election Day in 2016, if Mark Zuckerberg, for example, had chosen to send out a Go Vote reminder, say just to Democrats, and no one would have known if he had done this, that would have given that day an additional at least 450,000 votes to Democrats. And we know this without doubt because of Facebook's own published data, because they did an experiment that they didn't tell anyone about during the 2010 election. They published it in 2012. It had 60 million Facebook users.
So I'm going to link this below if y'all want to go watch these congressional hearings. If I remember correctly, this happened back in July, I want to say. Yeah, this happened in July. And so it's actually good. They talk about a couple of different things. They talked about other people from Google, and y'all would just see how these people, some of the smartest people, and now all of a sudden, when you're being held accountable, you're in these congressional hearings, now you become bumbling idiots because you're trying to lie around or talk around what the things Google has been doing. So if you haven't seen these, I would suggest y'all going to peek at these a little bit. But this is why people should support the things that matter. Like, however you feel about this administration, things like this are important because they had a potential to affect all of us, okay? And I'm going to talk about that more. But I can't believe we live in a time where some people will call for their own demise. Like Muxie Diva just said something about Bill Maher. Like, he's recorded saying he hopes a recession happens. Like, what type of person are you to say that? Some of these people, they're so caught up to the point where they don't give a crap about us anymore. They really don't care. I told y'all, like, after the State of the Union address, okay, and you have Trump standing there talking about how black unemployment is low, how you have more women in the job force, and talking about like all these other like programs and things that were taking place, and you literally have people there like but then when he said something about more I think he said something about more women in Congress now than maybe like ever before, if I'm not mistaken, but something had to do with like women just really taking the reins and moving forward in a certain area, and everybody's just up clapping when it has to do with them, right? Cheering for them. But when it comes for regular people, like everyday people like me and you sitting here watching, I'm telling y'all, some of these people literally don't give a crap. They don't care. And when you have Bill Maher and these news politicians freaking thirsting at the mouth for a recession just to prove a point, Like, whose side are y'all on? Whose team are y'all on? And to me, it's just disgusting, man. And it just shows you where some of these people, like, attitudes really lie or whatever. Me and my brother were talking about this the other day, because he's trying to do like this youth program for the kids. Like, he was trying to do like this basketball camp for the kids to get some of these boys off the streets during the summer and to get them something to do. And he ran into a couple of issues with the people over the gym or whatever. And so, my brother was telling me, like, at this point, I feel like y'all kind of giving me the runaround. I don't know what's going on. And y'all kind of making me feel some kind of way. And so the people he was dealing with tried to turn the conversation into, okay, well, how long have you been feeling like that? Do you think this is going to be a problem? This and the other. And my brother thought about it, and he was like, wow, so y'all trying to change the conversation to a me against you issue, when really I'm just trying to do something for the kids. I'm trying to work on behalf of the kids, whether I like y'all, whether I agree with y'all, whether we get along. At the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the kids. And I feel like my brother is younger than me, and I'm so happy. Like, I'm so proud of him and this man he has become and is becoming. And when he said this, I'm just listening to him talk, and my brother is very smart. He's very smart. And I just thought in that moment, and this literally just happened a couple of days ago, and I just thought in that moment, if more people could take that approach in life, if more people could think like that, you know what? At the end of the day, it's not even about me and you. It's not about our squabble. It's not about our beef. It's not personal about how I feel about you. It's about the people. And if people could get that, man, you will see the world drastically change overnight. So anyway, but all right, let's keep going. So Epstein said, I'm a big Hillary supporter, but my 2016 monitoring findings were based on an analysis of 13,207 election-related searches, along with 98,044 web pages to which the search results linked. The pro-Hillary bias was significant, okay, at the 0.00 level. So he's linking all these documents. Also, sorry, Hillary, I'm a fan, so I really hate correcting you, but to my knowledge, no credible authority has ever debunked either my 2016 and 2018 election monitoring projects or my control studies on the internet influence. All right, so he says, also when the CEO of Google testified before Congress in December 2018 that we take issue with Epstein's methodology, there was hardly a debunking. So he's just going on and on to talk about this. This is literally him with Hillary. He said, and so now he's going to address, what's true and what's not true. So Trump tweet, he said, I never said that Google deliberately manipulated the 2016 election, but I measured substantial pro-Hillary bias in Google search results by preserving and analyzing. And then that basically goes back to the tweet I just read. And so let me tell y'all how they do that. Do y'all remember? This was probably like 2 weeks ago. Maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't remember if it was in my live or the video I did about Tulsi Gabbard. I mentioned to you guys that Kamala Destroyed was trending. Kamala Destroyed was trending after the debates, okay, where Tulsi Gabbard basically came in and gave Kamala Harris their work. All right. Now, when you went to Twitter, instead of just seeing Kamala Destroyed coming up as a top tweet, it was like Kamala destroyed bots, right? So Twitter automatically it's obvious, painfully obvious. They're propping these things up at the top. So bots, the first thing, these people are manipulating how we think and how we're viewing things. Because if you are just wondering, you're just curious, and you go type Kamala destroyed, and the first thing you see is bots, you're going to click on that. You're going to read those tweets, and now you're leaving with the thought that, oh, this wasn't an organic hashtag, first of all. And second of all, this has something to do with Russia. Okay? So this is how they constantly, conveniently manipulate the information we're seeing and the information we're getting. All right, so the level of pro-Hillary bias I found in Google search results absent on Bing and Yahoo was enough to convince between 2.6 and 10.4 million undecided voters to vote for Hillary. So when he went over to test Bing and Yahoo for these same type of biases and these same type of things coming up at the top of the search engine, it wasn't happening, okay? He said it doesn't matter whether the bias in Google search results was deliberate or not. Once it appeared, which it did at least 6 months before the election, it began shifting opinions and votes without people's knowledge and without leaving a paper trail. So I just explained how they do that, okay? He said, now switching to Hillary Clinton. This is going to hurt me to write because I and my whole extended family have been strong supporters of the Clinton for decades. I have a framed signed letter from Bill on the wall near my desk. But Hillary should be ashamed of herself. Hillary Clinton said that my 2016 election monitoring project has been debunked and was based on 21 undecided voters. Both assertions are false and both came from Google. To understand what's going here, you need to know about the relationship between Hillary and Google. So this is literally her sitting here with Eric Schmidt, a former Google executive. Also, I showed y'all not long ago, and this is so crazy. This is how Google continues to manipulate us, and y'all know Google is tied to YouTube. So today I was looking for the video because I wanted to show y'all this video again, and I've showed it on my channel before, but I couldn't remember in which video. Hillary was on stage talking to somebody, and they asked her. They said, what would be your dream job? Hillary sitting there said Facebook, and they basically asked her why, and she said out of her own mouth, because Facebook is able to have all the information that's basically going out to the world. They're able to control that. Now I'm telling y'all try it yourself. Try it yourself, because I've showed the video on my channel before. I'm gonna go back and find it. But search that video on Google. Search that video on YouTube. I could not find it. It's probably there somewhere, but they pushed it so far down. It's literally nearly impossible to find. So this is what they do. They will they will push certain information up, authoritative sources, all of these gaffes that Joe Biden is having, and some of all this other stuff that y'all see going on in the mainstream media now. I recently came across an article that talked about how Kamala Harris, the website in California that's responsible for like keeping her records and stuff like that of what she did while she was in office, those have been scrubbed from these websites, y'all. So it's not a game. They are literally pushing so much information down that they feel like it's not favorable And they're propping authoritative sources, or we know that really means sources that they like or they agree with, up to the top, okay? So YouTube has successfully become theytube. All right, so let's see. It was another, some more stuff that I wanted to show y'all. Now, all this stuff I'm showing y'all, don't forget. I'm showing y'all. We're talking about the manipulation, how they're able to bump certain information up, how they went freaking haywire because of somebody out of Russia coming in and treat all the black people with $4,000 a ass. All these people, right? Their hypocrisy knows no bounds because Google, which is way more beholden to the American people than random people in Russia, you're literally doing the same thing, but for some reason, these people are so illogical and so manipulative. When it comes to them, for some reason, in their mind, it's different. It's different when it's them doing it. But when it's Russia, when it's anybody else, now all of a sudden, it's collusion. It's a problem. It's unethical. All right, so let me show y'all this. And before he went on his Twitter storm, he had already been talking about these things. Let's see. Not just conservatives. Google and big tech can shift millions of votes in any direction. This is coming from USA Today. And this was basically what I'm saying, this was also from Epstein, basically saying like Trump is more right than he knows and he doesn't even understand. Basically, based on my research, how they're able to manipulate these things. So it says, I've been a research scientist for nearly 40 years, and for more than 5 years now, I've been discovering, studying, and quantifying new methods of influence that the internet has made possible. Two of the methods, which is search engine manipulation, okay, the search engine manipulation effect, and the search suggestion effect. So the search suggestion effect is what I just explained to y'all. Like when you, so for example, one time I told y'all I went on Twitter and I was trying to look for like creepy Joe Biden or something like that, like specific tags with that line. But instead of doing creepy Joe Biden, they'll put something else as you're searching. Are amongst the most powerful types of influence ever discovered in the behavioral science. So he just goes on to talk about this. I'm not going to really read this, but he also talks about somewhere in this article about how this is not just affecting conservatives. This is also affecting progressives. Here we go right here. Okay, so as for Google's vacuous denials about having political preferences defending uncritically in recent days by reporters, Google's Eric Schmidt, that's the guy y'all just saw Hillary sitting with, okay, not only helped supervise Obama's tech teams in 2008 and 2012, he also offered to supervise Hillary Clinton's entire tech operation and bankrolled a highly secretive tech operation, the groundwork to assist her campaign. So you have high-level Google executives coming to Hillary telling her, let us work on your campaign. That said, the problem is not about hurting conservatives. It's much bigger than that. Google has also been accused of suppressing socialist and progressive groups. And whatever the company's political preferences are today, they could change tomorrow, both in the US and other countries. Democracy itself is at stake here. So I've done videos about how they've suppressed Tulsi Gabbard. They suppressed Andrew Yang. At the end of the day, y'all know my position. You give people the information and you let them decide. And I honestly feel like I know like some of y'all and even me, sometimes I get frustrated because it's like, are people paying attention? Do people want to know the truth? But I honestly believe if information was presented to us in a non-biased way, just a fair, objective way, I honestly think people are smarter than we give them credit for if you actually give them the information. But that's not happening. That's not what happens. And so this is why you literally have Tulsi Gabbard suing Google after, Tulsi Gabbard literally suing Google because Google is basically suppressing her, shadow banning her. She's a most Google person after the Democratic debates. And Google is basically shadow banning her website. That's problematic. That's problematic for everybody, okay? Especially when we know how the DNC was rigged and people have tried to silence Bernie in the past elections and things like this. So it's something for everybody to be concerned with. Let me see. I think... And let me show y'all. So you actually, I don't know if most of y'all are familiar with this company called, I think it's called Veritas or something like that. Google Veritas, maybe. Let's see. But you basically had this Project Veritas. I don't know where I got Google Veritas from. But you basically had this whistleblower coming out, and they're releasing documents specifically from Google, showing these biases, showing blacklists. Like, this is one of the blacklists, and it's a better one that I wanted to show y'all. But y'all can see here, like, the blacklist and some of these people and these topics that are being silenced. But let's see if I can find it. Okay, this is him. Or I might have already had it pulled up. Let's see. But this guy basically goes public. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
I've been living with this burden for 3 years, since 2016 when they started changing everything, and to have that burden lifted off of my soul is, I've never felt happier or more at peace with myself than I have right now. The police didn't announce themselves. I decided that I'm just not going to talk to them.
So, why are the police outside your home in San Francisco?
And so, what I did is
So the police, and this is like how evil and scary these things can get, because after he started releasing information, a SWAT team freaking showed up at his house. Supposedly somebody called for a wellness check, okay? A wellness check can end up with you hanging from a bunk bed, like Jeffrey Epstein, okay? So you just never know. I don't know what made this guy come forward. And I was trying to go directly to the part where he was talking about like the information in the blacklist and something like that. And I know I had everything put up earlier, but let's see if this is it. Oh no, well, I had everything pulled up earlier, and when I put in the title, YouTube was like, "Oh, we can't detect your camera." Yeah, right. This is them talking about it a little bit.
One person can make all the difference. One person really can let people know. One person can bring transparency to big tech.
Last year, an individual from Facebook approached us and gave us documents inside the company appearing to show how Facebook deboosts content for political reasons. Facebook was forced to respond. Her story inspired many like her to come forward. And now another insider has bravely stepped forward, leaking documents.
Y'all see how it's freezing up. My Wi-Fi is working just fine.
That show how big tech appears to have thrown its hat into the political debate. Now, the documents we've obtained raise serious questions about whether these companies are neutral platforms or publishers with an editorial agenda.
But anyway, so I'm going to link this video below if y'all want to go back and watch it later. But this was another blacklist, okay? This is another blacklist that was leaked. So y'all remember when everybody was like trying to find more information about Las Vegas? And this is why this can be so dangerous, okay? Y'all remember when everybody was trying to find information about more information about Las Vegas? So if you were searching anything about attack Las Vegas, Democrat Stephen Paddock, depression, fake Las Vegas attack, fake Las Vegas shooting. Does anybody know anything of Stephen Paddock? Like, these things were being suppressed. So you literally have a media that is anti-critical thinking. They're anti free speech. We know that people are being pushed away because of such a great distrust for the mainstream media. People are being pushed away from mainstream media, and they're being pushed to these alternative sources for a reason. And it's like now Google's like, you know what? Screw that. We know y'all left here to come here for a different experience, but we're gonna give you that same experience from over here. This is what they're actively doing. So if you have trouble finding things, or you're thinking, man, I know I saw this video before, but I can no longer find it. I know I saw this person say this or this person do that. Y'all are not crazy. You're not crazy. They're successfully doing this. How do I stop my, okay. So this is just a little. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not going to I really could have made this video like 2 hours long, possibly 3. But this is just the tip of the iceberg of how manipulative these people are. The same people that have been pushing Russia did this, and collusion and manipulating voters, and this is happening and this is happening. These same people are doing the same thing. They are fundamentally dishonest. They're very hypocritical. And what I want people to really get from this, and why this should matter to all of us, okay? Just like y'all heard Dr. Epstein say, why this should matter to all of us is literally for the integrity of democracy. Let me tell you why. Some people are going to see this story and they're going to automatically get turned off. They're going to automatically get turned off. They're going to automatically see, oh, people are saying Google is suppressing conservative thought. Well, I'm not conservative. What the heck does that have to do with me? What does that matter? Let me tell y'all why it's problematic for all of us. Because I always talk about people having to be forward thinking. People having to be forward thinking. This is happening now, but it's only a matter of time before it affects you. You literally have Google that is responsible for about 90 to about 92% of search engine results. Do y'all realize how significant that is? And so if Google can get away with this, if they can get away with this, they can get away with anything. Do y'all remember a couple of years back, people were like really upset and protesting the fact that Texas was like trying to change their history books or something like that? Do y'all remember that? I remember this specific, I don't know if this was related to Texas, but I just remember this being talked about, how people were talking about how the word slavery in history books were being changed to like indentured servant or some type of like I can't remember if indentured servant was the exact terminology, but something dealing more with like help or something like that. If you can do this, you literally, Google literally has the ability to change history. They literally have the ability to change what we see. Sometimes you will think, dang, I remember seeing this clip, or I remember things being different when they were talked about. And now when you go back to find those things, it's a whole different narrative. We have to think about how powerful that is. These people literally have the power to change history, to change how we see things, to change, I don't want to say like what we remember, but this is so significant and affects all of us. And it doesn't just affect conservatives. This affects anybody deviating from the mainstream narrative. So this also affects progressives. This also affects socialists. And whether I agree with some of these things or not, those things should be in light of the truth and what's actually going on in this time. People need that information so they can decipher how they feel about these things, and they know how to move accordingly. So yes, in clips, it's like we're living in the Matrix. Oh my God, Alan. Oh my God, that's perfect. That's perfect. Alan said, if you repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth. If you repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There have been topics that I have went to research from previous years, and I'll be like, something just doesn't seem right about how I remember this. And it's happening right before our eyes, y'all. And so if you have Google doing this, right? Literally one of the biggest and most powerful entities in our lifetime. If you have Google doing this, just imagine all the lies and all the propaganda and all the BS in these history books. one thing, for example, that I absolutely hate, okay, I hate is how slavery, and that part of slavery in America is always propped up as Black history, right? And then all the way at the bottom is where you will find the information where Black people were successful. Black people were doctors and lawyers and teachers. Black people had their own neighborhoods, their own communities. Black people were builders right here in this country. You had Wall Street and other communities that were very successful. Ask yourself why it would be so important for the media, for the history books to focus very little on those things, but constantly remind you about slavery, victimhood, all of those bad things. Not to say they're not important, but they should be just as equally discussed. These people will go out of their way to have us forget or leave behind certain pieces of us. It's not by accident, y'all. None of this, what we're seeing, none of it is by accident. When you have a people that don't know their history, don't know what's happening, going on, they're doomed to repeat it. When you have people that don't believe in themselves, that that's a part of their history, they don't even think it's possible. It's so removed from their freaking mind that these things were happening. People were making headwaves. Black people were so successful at a point in history. This is not by accident. This is random, but I talk about this often. Why I think mentorship is so important, because these kids have to see firsthand. They have to be given the opportunity to see a different narrative, to see a different story than what they're being presented. It's a reason why people don't talk about this stuff, y'all. Seeing is believing. And so, yes, sometimes I get frustrated. I feel like in my head, I'm saying, man, it's 2019. The information is out here. If you want it, you can find it. But I'm up against people like freaking Google. They can pull the plug on my videos at any time. Shadow banning me, censoring me. They create blacklists. So if you're even talking about certain topics, they're effectively pushing your videos to the bottom. So that's why it's important that we share these things. We talk about these things. What's going on with Google? This is a threat to everybody. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter. Because if they can do this, they can effectively change history. And you already see how that's affected certain communities. Because they will prop up certain stories above others. When really, we really need an objective, full picture. So, this is why this is super frustrating for me to see. I will continue talking about censorship. Everybody has to be against it. Everybody. I might not agree with everything that everybody says, but regardless, I want to say what I want to say. So for me to have the opportunity to say what I want to say, I have to extend that same right to everybody else. That's the only way that works. That's the only way that works. So this is super problematic for everybody. Like, we have to speak out against censorship. We have to speak out about what's happening at Google. Dr. Epstein actually did a paper where he basically breaks down how, because I'm one of those people like, okay, talk about it, bam. What's your solution? He actually seems to be, from what I can tell about this research that I'm doing, seems to be a pretty stand-up guy. Because he offered this solution. Like, not only am I going to tell y'all this because I don't just feel like it's best for me or best for the Clintons that I support or best for anybody else. This is not only best for us all, but I'm going to tell y'all a way that we can significantly stop this. We can stop what Google is doing. So he's actually offering those solutions as well. And all these videos, all this information, I'm going to link it below this video if y'all want to come back, do the research, go through and read the articles more and stuff for yourself. But I just had to talk about this. Like I said, the mainstream media, they're not, it upsets me and it's frustrating because you will spend 2 years, 2 freaking years or more talking about Russia. But this, you'll give 2 to 3 minutes of your time. And this actually affects more people. This is a big deal. So, but I'm going to link all that below. So I will continue talking about this. We will keep our eye on it. Like, I completely 100% stand against censorship because it's problematic, and we have to, as a people, we have to be forward thinking. I know some people are going to be turned off because they're going to be like, oh, you know, maybe they're just pushing all the racist people to the bottom. You know what I mean? And then until you realize years from now, they're changing your history, or they're affecting you, or they're censoring you, or they're successfully stopping you from getting information that you need to know. We're not dumb people. We're not incapable of thinking. So we deserve to be presented the information in a fair way and to decide for ourselves. I wholeheartedly believe that. So, so those are my thoughts on this issue. Like I said, y'all, please share this video so the word can get out. People can know what's happening and how this has the potential to eventually affect them or whatever. So thank y'all for all the thumbs up. Thank y'all for the people that share my videos. I see y'all share my videos. I appreciate y'all 100%. Thank you for the people who super chat. Like, y'all are so awesome. Sometimes throughout the week, I'll get like random, like I'll get a random PayPal here or a random Cash App. I thank y'all. I never take y'all for granted at all. Y'all, I appreciate y'all being able to support my channel. When y'all support my channel, that gives me the time to dedicate and sit there and go like watch these videos for hours, read these articles for hours, so I can sit here and compartmentalize everything, and we can go over it in like an hour, so y'all don't have to do all the busy work or whatever. And of course, I encourage y'all to go back and be hands-on. You know, I'm not trying to be an authority figure. I just want to encourage people to do the research for themselves. So don't ever be scared to go back and read the stuff that I'm presenting to y'all. Watch the stuff that I'm presenting to y'all, or any of that. I 100% support that. And if you ever find more information or something you want to share with me, or you're like, well, Rhonda, I think you need to do a follow-up to this because, you know, it's more information or this has changed, don't ever be scared to email me because I read that stuff, y'all. I really do. So I appreciate y'all supporting me. Please continue to do that. And we will be talking later this week. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night. We'll talk soon. Bye.